So, like she said, I was asked to tell you a little bit about my experiences with the men's ministries here at Trinity. And so I realized it might help to tell you how I even got to Trinity. And then I thought, well, to start that, I need to say something that's probably going to be shocking to the women. You probably don't know this, but I'm just going to say it, so prepare yourself. Men are blockheads. So sorry if you didn't know that. I just was to shatter your world. But my wife, I grew up in church. It was jokingly referred to as a Leave It to Beaver household. God truly blessed me with two amazing godly parents, and I grew up in a church that, was in the Word. It was amazing. And so I started off fantastic. I had a great upbringing. And then in my middle adulthood, I just somehow, you know how, but my relationship with God just kind of slipped into neutral, and I was just kind of coasting. And we know there's really no such thing as coasting. I mean, it's, you're off in the ditches and whatnot. So I met Leslie, and I had started to, as I call it, reboot my relationship with God, getting back into church. And we were going to a church, and we were wanting to be involved in church and the ministries, whatever was going on. And looking back now, I can tell the church we were going to had stuff going on all the time. So, but it just slipped through our fingers. I mean, we met with two different pastors, and they were like, well, maybe check the website, I mean, you can just imagine if you ask anybody here or at any church normally, they know what's going on. But I think it was just supernaturally blocked because that's not where we were supposed to be. So I'd love to say this next part is just, after prayerful consideration, God led us to Trinity. But blockhead, can't say that. I did come here for a little while, briefly, years ago, because I was friends with Richard Thibodeau, a member here. We worked together. And I came, and I liked it. And then I would also love to say again, it wasn't God's timing, and it just wasn't the right, blockhead, drifted away. But my wife and I were going to this other church, and we would drive past Trinity, and didn't you used to go there? We should check that church out. Yeah. Sunday after Sunday, we pass it, and finally, look, we've been praying. I think probably God's telling us to just stay where we are. That day, no less than 3 phone calls telling us things, not necessarily things negative about that church, but just telling us things that made it abundantly clear that, as usual, she had been hearing God pretty clearly. Shouldn't we go check this church out? And blockhead, no, it needed a reinforcement. So we walked through the doors at Trinity finally, and it was home. We just immediately felt it. We were looking for 2 things, though. I mean, obviously a home church, but we wanted somewhere we could be involved, which Paola already mentioned. At the time, we were out of town a lot on the weekends for different things, and we loved being able to watch church online. So we wanted to help with that here so that other people could do the same thing. And so, like Paola said, I mean, man, we were in it. I mean, we weren't even members, and we were already on the team helping out, and it was wonderful. And then the second thing I was really looking for, because like I said, I had drifted, and I realized it came to me, I had no friends. I mean, a couple I grew up with that were childhood friends that are lifelong friends, but I had no godly men in my life, no Christian friends. People at work were just acquaintances, but I needed godly men to be in touch with to help keep me accountable and to do that. And the very first thing I went to, not long after we started here, was the pit stop. Ironically, Tuesday, pit stop, 6 p.m. here at the church. So if you're a man, come on. It was fantastic. I met my first couple of guys here. I met Sonny and Casey, and you'll find this hard to believe, but I kept getting them mixed up. They don't really look anything alike. But so it started with the pit stop. And so I encourage you, come Sunday night, next Tuesday, 6 p.m. at night. And come meet a bunch of guys who are interested in following God. And so I did that. Then somebody talked about Regen, and y'all have heard about Regen a lot. And so I thought, I'm in the process of rebooting my relationship with God. This sounds interesting, kind of a 12-step program. Like, I could use a little tune-up maybe, So I go start Regen, and, well, God was like, I think let's just take the engine out. This is going to be a major overhaul. And in that process, I met Randy Young as my mentor, and he was amazing. Did the Regen program, and through Randy and his mentorship, helped get through that. And towards the end of that, or after it, I was just struggling. I was going through some stuff, and I just couldn't get through it. And I talked to Randy, called him, and said, Randy, look, man, I'm struggling. And we all know, most of you know the scripture, James 1:5. But if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives to all generously and without reproach, and it will be given to him. And I'm like, Randy, I believe this. I know that God can do it, but I feel like I'm getting dumber by the minute. I don't know what's going on. And Randy said, well, did you read the verses before that one? I'm like, should have been a clue because it starts with but. So I was like, okay, let me read those. Consider it all joy, my brothers and sisters, when you encounter various trials, knowing that testing of your faith produces endurance. And let endurance have its perfect result, so that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. And it was just a light bulb that went off that enabled me to reframe what was going on and realizing, yeah, God does give wisdom generously, but there's a way you get that wisdom, and it's by plowing through those trials and tribulations that some of them, God knows, I brought on myself, and then some of them are just this crazy world we live in, and stuff happens, but God is there with you. And when you understand that, and you have a brother in Christ to help you, keep you on track, it makes all the difference. And that led me into Randy's prayer group with a few other guys that just get together to talk and pray. And I encourage you, if you're not in a prayer group, please talk to me, talk to Randy, one of the other guys. We'll get a prayer group started for you. It's just life-changing to have other guys in your life that are also seeking God through this crazy mixed-up world we live in, this broken world, broken people, when you have somebody to focus on. And I had no idea how many study groups we have for the men. I mean, there's one restarting on Tuesday mornings. There's a Thursday morning one, a Tuesday night one, a Wednesday night one. I mean, there's one for any time that you have available. There's probably a prayer group, a Bible study meeting where you can connect with other believers. And as Paula said earlier this year, had a little plumbing issue that I had to take care of in February, and the doctors call it a heart attack and open heart surgery, but potato, potato. But there again, it was just an amazing experience because the men that I had connected with over the last 3 years were there to support me and to pray with me. The whole church was, honestly, not just the men. The care group took wonderful care of us, and just it was amazing support from the whole church. But it just reminds me that the church is not a building, and that's why I wanted to talk about this, or was asked to talk about this, because it's not a building. The church is the people, and having the godly men in my life to support me and to help me, and then just when I get, I know I'm not the only one, I just get mixed up, turned around in your head, you get stuck in a loop, and you just can't seem to get out of it, and you have your man there, your men with you, that you can call, you can text and connect to. And the same thing applies to the women as well. I mean, there are loads of women's groups, but being connected, that's what we're here for, is to be, not just to hear the sermon, which I assure you, I previewed it, is wonderful. The praise and worship is wonderful, but he calls us to be a body so that we can support each other and to help each other and be there for each other. And just, so I want to say, just reach out, grab a hold of some dude next to you, because our society wants to tell us we are an island. And look, I've been blessed with this group of men here. I'm not going to say any other names because there's too many of you that I've talked to and that I've connected with. And Better Man was a great group, and just the Bible studies. We're not an island. Our society tells us we can't talk about what's going on. We can't talk about our feelings. We can't talk about what's hurting us. But I have to tell you, that's a lie. That's a lie. And it's such a relief when you can just talk to another guy and tell him what's going on and reach out and be supported. And they're like, yeah, me too. They're going through the same thing. But when we do it in isolation, that's where Satan knows he's lost us. He's lost me. I'm a Christian. But if he can separate me, put a division between me and my wife, he can make us ineffective as a team. If he can make me feel isolated from you guys, from the church, then he's winning again. He's making me ineffective. And it's having those guys and those men in the church standing next to you saying, no, get up. I'm going through the same thing. This is how we do it. We do it together. So anyway, I just encourage you to get involved. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.